Welcome to Fly of the Month. I am Jan Nimick, Angler Education for the Nevada Department of Wildlife, and we have the wired midge here in front of us. Not a real hard pattern to tie. Great for that reason. It's easy to whip a bunch of these out. It's kind of really just a modified brassy, or a zebra midge, excuse me. So really not much to it. You know, fish love peacock, so it's really just a zebra midge with some peacock thrown in there. All right, let's start with the hook. We are tying it, I apologize on the size, it's a size 16 scud hook with a silver 3/32 bead on it. Again, I apologize, I like to tie the stuff on larger hooks for demonstration purposes, but this is definitely not a larger one. All right, start with the thread base. Got a real thin base down there. And my first part I'm going to add is my wire. So I've got some small silver wire that we're just going to tack down, starting with the bead. I'm going to work all the way down the back of the fly. If I kind of apply a light amount of pressure to the ribbing material as I'm tying it back, it'll hold it onto the top of the shank opposed to letting it roll over to the side. And take that all the way back, making sure that I get a nice base of thread covering all of that. We're going to kind of divide this up into thirds. So first part of the fly, being a real even, consistent body, I'm going to take and make about 3 or 4 wraps of the wire. So again, I'm going to cover about 2/3 of the fly. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we'll tie that off. Great thing about tying off wires, a lot of times once you get it pinched, you can just kind of rotate and twist the material off. So we've got kind of an ugly zebra midge at this point. Next material we're going to add is Z-lon. And I'm going to take, this is kind of a standard bunch that you find in a package. I'm going to take that into half. So about half the material, which is odd because I'm now going to tie it down like so and double it over. So we take it in half and then we end up making it right back to what it was. Okay, so you saw how I pinched it down initially in a V and then I took the material back, and again, we're talking in thirds here, so I'm going to take and cover about 1/3 of the way back towards the rear of the hook. All right, so we've got our Z-lon down. Next up is our peacock herl. So stuff can be challenge to work with because of how thin it is. I typically use 3 strands here, and I'm going to clean the tips up. And the reason I use 3 strands is because typically one breaks for me, so I'm hoping I get at least 2 clean strands out of it. Those 3 tied in just like the wing case. I'm actually going to bring them down under the fly and then twist or spin them. And what that does is it kind of forms a little bit of a rope to bring the material forward. So it just kind of strengthens them, making them 3 stronger than 1, that's for sure, just like a rope. All right, now with that twisted material, I'm going to make 2 wraps forward, get it tied off. We'll trim it. Okay, so with that tied down, the last part is going to be pulling that wing case or that gill and wing case forward. So we're just going to pull it forward directly over the top where we tacked it down, make 2 or 3 securing wraps there, and then I'm going to whip finish the fly on the bead side of the antron. Trim the thread. I like to keep the antron about as long as the actual eye of the hook. So kind of bring it across the eye and then cut it the length of the eye. Okay, now our final step here is going to be add some super glue. I'm going to put 1 drop kind of on the rear of the hook. That thread body really needs something to keep it secure. And then on the top, or at the eye, I'm just going to add 1 little spot to the inside. The super glue is pretty good about spreading itself out. And that is our wired midge. Excellent pattern for hinks and slough larger patterns out of Pyramid, as well as most of the community ponds across the entire state. For more information on fishing Nevada, including fishing reports, instructional videos and podcasts, as well as upcoming classes and clinics, find us on Facebook or visit us at endow.org.